need to too. I've been cleaning and trying to do a little bit of housework since I'm functioning better today, and I feel a little bit better today. The house is so far ahead of me now; it's never going to get caught back up. I just wanted to come on here and drop some information because I like to look at homicide stats, uh, domestic violence stats, crimes against women, and all that stuff. I like to look at that stuff. I like to follow the trends and see what's going on. Okay, so a few years ago, if you were to see which was the most dangerous country in the world, my dog has to eat and drink when I get on YouTube. If you were to ask which was the most dangerous country in the world about 4 to 6 years ago, it would literally have gone like Honduras, Belize, Lesotho. And it would basically have been Central and South America, Mexico, Central and South America. And then down at 76th ranking would have been the United States. Light VR7. I'm sometimes you have to tell me what your names mean because I don't. My brain doesn't work that way. Hi everybody. You would say Texas. Well, you would think with but I'm talking like 4 to 6 years ago and beyond. So it used to be like literally Mexico, and Honduras and Belize and all those. It was basically Mexico, South and Central and South America, and it was just like, okay, that's understandable. Cartels, okay. Down at number 76 a few years ago, like 6 years ago, was United States. Now, when they redid the stats just a little while ago, just a couple months ago, it's like Belize, Mexico, something, Lesotho or something, and then United States is now fourth. How do United States turn to fourth? Well, you've got to think that out of the United States, once being down at 76, all the other countries above were basically Central and South American areas. Well, we've had this mass migration. Thank you, Oscar, for making so much noise. Now we've had this mass migration, and the U.S. is fourth in homicides, too. Your real name's Abby. Oh, nice to meet you, Abby. Now the U.S. is fourth in homicides, too. So how did that change so greatly? From 76 to fourth, how did that change so greatly in just like half a decade? Hi, Jamie. I mean, you really think, how do you think that happened in such a short time? Migration. Yep. I mean, we used to be down the road like Denmark and where nobody lives and nobody ever sees everybody, and they have like 2 people per 10 to 20 square miles. We used to be down there, and now we're fourth. We used to be 76 to fourth. There's only way that changes that quickly. You change the population. You change the continuity and the behavior of the people by changing the people. My dog he ate lunch and then he just went, Oscar, Otter, come here. Oh, you bet you got a wet mouth from me. Come here. Oh, thank you for taking the couch out. That's graceful, dog. Come here. They want to see you. Come here. Oh, God. Oh, you really want to see this? Come here. Come here. Oh, stay. Come here. Stop. Stop. This is my 11-year-old Pug Shih Tzu Brussels Griffin mix. Oh, and he makes the most horrible noises like a bulldog. Okay, go play. Oh, not on me. He's 11. I take really good care of him. He acts like this too. I'm Mary. Having a better day today. Oscar's decided to sleep at my feet now. As long as you don't jump on me, don't you jump on me again. He's only like 16 pounds, but when he puts all 4 feet in 1 square inch, it hurts. But so how did the U.S. go from 76, like in the most dangerous countries in the world, so like six years ago, we went from position 76 to when they redid them just a couple months ago, we're in the 4th. Well, if you look at all the places that were before us in the 76, it was literally Central South America. With some of those like weird places over there, like, where weird things happen. Okay. Those way over there in where, close to Putin and stuff. So some weird stuff happens there. Now it's like Ukraine is above us. I will say Ukraine was first or second, but U.S. is went to fourth. How do you change it? Because you change the dynamic, the construction of the people of the community. How do you change that? Well, it only takes 5% of the population to sway the behavior of the population. It only takes 5% of the group to change the behavior of the group. That's how herd and mob mentality take over in communities. That's just proven. So how do we stop this? Well, obviously we go back to what we were doing about a half decade to a decade ago, and we drop back down to 76, right? No, because now that we have a lot of these people that wanted new opportunities in a richer land to play their games in a richer land, and I'm not saying everybody that comes from other areas is bad. There are good people that come here. That's why we need immigration. But when you open the gates and you say we're not going to look at anybody, you get a lot of the worst. And there were actually verified prisons emptying prisons and sending to us, like putting them on buses and sending to us. So we didn't always get the best people. So how do we change this? Like if we stop it, surely we'll drop back down to 76, right? No, it will probably take us 50 years to correct the mentality change that has occurred in the last 4 to 6. And that's just from a psychological standpoint. Why? Because now we have become a country of violence. Our children have seen this. Our children's children will see this. It will take a long time to fade away, and it will take a lot of retraining and a lot of learning how to profile when you're out in the world and choose better people. And I mean, it used to be that in America, women, it was only like 14% of women had ever had any kind of attack of any kind on them. Well, not anymore. Not anymore. But do you know that the worst, I think it was El Salvador or Honduras or Belize, I'll say it was down there somewhere. And they literally had like 15 and over, 1 in 3 women had been assaulted. Okay, so now we look at our stats and states, and that's on the rise. Well, why is it on the rise? Well, because the people that commit those atrocities down there have come up here. So we have to understand that this is not an isolated, segregated, just ideological change. This is it's just like, I know that I do farm analogies all the time, but it's just like breeding stock. If you bring a Brahma bull in and you run it with a bunch of black baldies, you're going to get a mean streak in your little passive cows you used to have. Because black baldies are pretty chill. Brahmas are not. And so you got to be careful. You got to be careful. And I, for one, take people on individual basis, but I have to say that working in the penal institutions and with the Department of Corrections and with murderers, I understand that they don't move alone. They're like packs of wild dogs, packs of coyotes, packs of wolves. You may only see one, but there are 5 others hovering in the same vicinity. Because plausible deniability to blame it on somebody else is always how they get away with shit. Oh, but he was also in this area, and it just, the cops, their heads spin. So they play off of each other. And so they roll through our country playing off of each other, and we don't know who to punish, what to punish, how to punish, where to punish. Because we're not used to this. We jumped 72 spots in a matter of like 2 years to like one of the most hostile areas on the globe. And people are wondering why society is changing so rapidly. Because it's not our society anymore. It's changed. Normally when people come to America and they come legally, they assimilate. They still keep their culture and the things that make their culture beautiful, but they assimilate to our laws and basically our structure of government. Normally that's what they want to be here for. That's what they want. Not anymore. Now it's just you come, you mooch. There's very few seeking jobs, and I respect the heck out of the ones that are actually trying to get work. They're trying to do the right thing, seeing the social workers, trying to do the paperwork. But what about the ones that are just coming in, getting their 7 months free, never working, and then splitting and running back home and then coming back and getting another ID under a new name and staying 7 months somewhere else. But we got to think about this because we don't have any of them identified, barely at all. And we can't verify who they are because we're not working great with the other governments. So we can't verify that's their name. We can't verify, we don't have like birth certificate. We just have to take it on the honor code. Well, the honor code, if you look at the homicide rate for the last 4 years, is shit. You know, and it's like, oh, is this your first live chat? Well, I twang. I'm country, so you might not understand me well. But I'm concerned about this. I'm concerned about this. Number one, because we have or had a country where only 10 to 14% of women had ever been accosted. But now we're getting a lot of traffic from countries where literally if they're over 15, 1 in 3 have been in a position like that. How's that going to affect our female demographic? How is that going to affect our family demographic? How is that going to change relationships and marriages? Because you know, after women are assaulted, many men have a hard time staying in relationships with women that have been assaulted because they don't want to go through the rigmarole of the processing it all out. They aren't made for that. So how is this going to create more issues for our nation? And I just sit here and I'm just like, wow. Because I've been keeping an eye on these assaultive behavior and the increase across the world, across the globe, and how things have been moving and changing. But it's always Central and South America that have the worst numbers in crime. Always. And the U.S. used to be way down the list. And now we're right at number 4. And we did that in a matter of like 5 years, 4 or 5 years. Literally, that was the max. Amazing. I think they do a study every 2 years, and it's amazing at how quickly a country's demographic can change. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't let your country's demographic. No, gradual, natural change that happens on a normal societal bell curve is great because that's how people grow and learn. When it happens so drastically and so rapidly, it's hard for people to understand. It's hard for people to comprehend. Hackles go up, people bristle, behaviors augment, and society starts to change. Especially if there is an aggressive component to those that are coming in to make those changes. So I'm just kind of sitting here going, how do we get back down to number 76 instead of number 4? Because I really would rather be number 76 in the world for homicides as to number 4. That doesn't sit too well with me. And our government should be looking at these things going, okay, we need to take a different approach because we are seeing crime in our area rise to a deafening roar from a very low mumble. We can't let our civilians live like this. We can't let this continue. Their first and only job is to protect us, to make sure that we're okay. You got one job. You suck at it. But you got one job. Do it right. Yeah, just do it right, That's also an issue. Yes, yeah. I believe that there are a lot of what I would call homogenous criminogenic behaviors to where it does stay within, certain races and cultures. Because there are certain issues there are certain beefs you're gonna have with your own people, There are certain beefs you're gonna have with your own people. That's somewhat understandable, but I will say that yes, the black on black crime, especially in areas like Chicago, is ludicrous. Maybe that was the wrong word to use. Is out is out of this world. It's stupid. It's stupid. And it's stupid to say that you're my enemy when actually you're more likely to be killed by your own kind. It's like, come on now. You got to think about these things. How do we stop that? How do we start making people there see people as people instead of target practice? How do we do that? I mean, it's even to the point where more children are being harmed there than adults. I mean, And don't get me started about gun control, because I grew up with guns. I grew up in the country. They were taught to me as respectful things that help feed our family and protect our family, and they were not to be used unless it was necessary, and you were trained in them, and you handled them with the greatest utmost of respect, and you followed all the freaking laws because you didn't want to lose this ability to protect yourself and feed your family. Okay, over the Christmas holiday, did y'all hear about Demarcus and what was it, Demarius and Demarcus? Anyway, there were two very strange named boys, and they had a sister. They were all within like 15 to 19 or something, 15 to 18 years old. They all went Christmas shopping with their mom. One of them got mad because they thought that the mom was buying other people, the other sibling, more Christmas presents. So when he got home, and the sister that was, I think, the oldest, but still like barely an adult, but maybe still a minor. She was right on the cusp. She already had a 3-year-old. She had a child at like 14. Problem number one. Problem number two. No father in the home. And I'm just going to point this out. No father in the home. That's a big thing. That's a big thing across the board, across the world. And you can't just pick on black culture for that. That affects every home of every color, nation, creed. It doesn't matter. But number three, the mentality of the people that live in certain areas, such as this was in southern Chicago, I believe. He got home and the sister was, and she's pregnant, and she already has a 3-year-old. Listen, there are a lot of problems going on here, okay? But still, let's try to look at the family as just a family. She looks at the brother, who is very aggressive about thinking mother bought more presents for everyone else, and she goes, "You need to be quiet. You're going to ruin Christmas for my kid." I can so understand that, because you don't want holidays to come with like emotional scarring. You're like, this holiday means yelling, screaming. I can understand where she was coming from, and thinking she was talking to her brother, somebody that would respect her and listen to her. Hey, Bubba, let's not ruin Christmas for the kid, the toddler that's trying to enter this horribly tragic world we live in right now. He pulled out a Glock and shot her. One that he had packed since he was 13 or 14. Number filed off, not legal, bought for probably $50 to $100 on a back alley. Then his bigger brother, younger brother, I don't know, I think it was the younger brother, came to the door and said, "What the F, you just shot our sister?" Pulled out his gun, also illegal, also VIN number scratched off, also bought probably on a back alley, and shot his brother in the guts. Now, the first one that fired, that shot the sister, she died, and the baby died with her. Tragic. Like, I cannot believe it. Like, okay, this mom, I have sympathy for the mother, and at the same time, I'm like, you play with fire, you get burned. What the heck were you doing letting two young boys with testosterone and hormonal issues that were going off the charts at this age? Men are eternally stupid from 14 to 22. Just eternally. Women are eternally stupid from 12 to about 20, and then they start to calm down. Women are normally about 2 to 3 years ahead of men on the calm down, chill out cycle. Our frontal lobes develop just a little bit quicker because our bodies mature a little bit quicker. And when I say mature, I don't mean have all the necessary parts able to reproduce. I mean mature to a place where we understand our spatial awareness and understand our role in society. Women mature just a little bit more faster than men. So here we lost a girl, the kid she was pregnant with. The toddler lost his entire support system and comfort. Grandma is certainly not going to be fostering this grandkid. She had 2 kids that had illegal weapons that she was aware of. They had packed them to the store. Now, in many states you have open carry, but that gun has to be visible to everyone around you. When you start tucking crap into the waist breeches of you and pulling your shirt down, that's a deceptive technique. And you're telling other people, I want the ability to harm you, but I don't want you to know I'm lethal. Well, no, the thing is if you walk around this whole world and you just say, I'm not going to harm anybody, so there's no reason to think that I'm going to be lethal, therefore nobody's going to be lethal to me, you start to have a better grasp of society. When I was out and doing home visits on my offenders when I supervised murderers, if I got lost in a town, I would look for the man that had a holster on his hip. Why? Because I knew he had been fingerprinted, he had been background, he had gone through the testing, and he had probably had a psych eval, and he was packing, and I was going to ask him because if something happened to me, they'd find him. Well, that's not how it is in a lot of urban areas, where guns are thrown in creeks and kids find them and people resell them. They file off the numbers, file off the identification fact, and they resell them, and you can buy them a dime a dozen. There's no gun law that's going to save anyone's life because criminals don't follow gun laws. Do you know that and this is just, you can look all this stuff up. Don't ever believe anything anybody says. Research everything. Do it. Even things I tell you, research. Do you know the most compliant, legally compliant and law-abiding citizen group in the world? The people that have concealed carry permits in America. Why? Because they don't want to lose the right to be able to protect themselves. So they follow all the rules. That's the most law-abiding group of people in the world, the concealed carry permit owners in America. Now, how would the people that run up and say, I have a weapon, be the most law-abiding? Because they respect the weapon, tell you they have the weapon, want to keep the weapon, and understand what the weapon's used for. It's not a status symbol. It's a tool, and it's a tool you don't want to have to use. But if you do, you want everybody to know you used it legally. So you learn a lot. Lord, no, I think Jennifer Lawrence is stupider than, oh my God. She's slower and smoke off shit. Let's just say that. She's dumb. Jennifer Lawrence is dumb. To have come from Kentucky and a raisin to where you're raised with good people that live a very simple lifestyle, I don't know where she's gone in her brain. Like, she does not comprehend. Like, she's not made the transition to understand urban and rural and understand the differences. She just thinks one's good as one is bad. I came from Kentucky. Kentucky was not great for me, so I'm going to go with everything that was urban. But they both have their issues. But to just dog one because that's not where you made your money? Seriously, Jennifer Lawrence. Seriously. You gotta, look at her interviews. She's not the most stable person I've ever seen in my life. But, go look at these stats every once in a while. Go look at the countries that we used to be in the neighborhood of, with like we were 76th on the most dangerous country list. Look at the people that we were around. Those were places where, there was never any issues. You never heard of a murder. You never heard of anything like that. Boom. A couple years later, we're number 4. Ask yourself how that occurs. What changed in the last few years to allow that to occur? And how do we undo it? How long is it going to take to undo it? Let's start investigating. When there's mass migration that is not controlled and we don't know, we don't have identification, we can't follow these people. We've lost 200,000 children in the United States. Biden put over 200,000 children with sponsors that were paid by the government. Nobody can find them, but the sponsors are still being paid. We need to be looking into this stuff. Why doesn't anyone want to look into this stuff? We've got so much to look at. But the fact stands, you can be as mad as you want about me and you don't have to agree with everything I say, but the fact stands that we went from 76th on the most dangerous places to live for homicides and crime to number 4. In literally the snap of a finger. The blink of an eye. There's only one way that happens. And that is augmentation of the base of the citizenship. We have changed the base of our citizenship because of so much mass migration without any quality control, without any legal ramifications, without any valid identification. We turned a bunch of jackals and javelina hogs into the middle of our country, and we can't chase them and identify them and get them out. So how are we going to do this? It's going to take years. It's going to take generations. Hi, Clara. We're going to have to go through years and years and years of slowly finding these rogue infiltrators, which is what they are, that are doing these horrible crimes and slowly holding them accountable and either imprisoning them or deporting them. And my great grandchildren might see an America that is not 70 or is closer to 76th instead of 4th in homicides. You think, oh, I had it so good when I grew up as a kid, but I did. We were like the safest country. No, there is no thing as a perfectly safe country because people are always going to have inherent evil in them. You're always gonna find those people that have sociopathic or psychopathic tendencies. There's a small proportion, but they're out there. But when you open a border and you say we're not going to monitor, and come on in, anyone. I mean, the first people to leave are gonna be anyone that's had problems, because they're gonna be like, peace, I'm out. I have problems here because I can't follow the rules here, so I'm gonna go up here. And I'm going to get lost in these 330 million people, and nobody's ever going to find me. And a lot of them have been very successful at that, and that's sad. What I am concerned about is we move from 76 on the world's most dangerous place to live, list, to number 4. We move 72 spaces in just a couple of years. That should be socially and socioeconomically impossible. Like the bell curve on that normally would be like a couple generations at least. Nobody thinks about it like that, though. They get emotional. They think about the emotions, and I think about the people too. I think about the individuals that want better lives. If I wanted a better life, though, I would be like, the way to a better life is to go into a country legally and say, I'm here to make a better life for myself. And I can be open and honest with everyone I meet, and I can create a better life. That's the way you do it. Because if you go in and you're already showing you have criminogenic behavior to sneak in, even if you're oppressed and under duress, you're still responsible for your behavior. And there are always going to be consequences. So even if you are in a better place where you're not as in danger, you still have limited your capacity to care for yourself and provide for your children because you're not there legally. So now you've got a whole new hurdle of issues. And guess what? It won't be just a couple years before people start to learn how to manipulate and make money off of those people that are here, that aren't here legal. They're going to start milking them for, I can get you this, or I can get you that. We can get you a car. We can register this. It's already happening in some of the places where they have them put up in hotels. So they're still prey. They're just in a bigger pond. I mean, that's it. The cartel, the sharks are still coming after them. They're just in a bigger pond. They think we've maybe got a little bit more time to get away from them. Their lives have not significantly changed. They may be eating better and they may be wearing nicer Nikes. But their lives have not significantly changed because they're still an outsider in society and trying to run away from people who can manipulate them. But if they were legal, you could go and get help. You could go and get your citizenship, and you could go to an embassy and be like, I have a problem. I mean, you could do a lot of things if you were here legally that could protect you and your family. But they can't even go to the law because then they're on the radar. The only reason they found the men that beat up the NYPD officers, they were using the government cards they gave them. The free money. Oh, wait, no, I mean our money that they gave them. Taxpayer money that they gave them, yeah. We're buying more than Hunter's Parmesan and whores. I tell you that. We're buying nights at the Roosevelt Hotel for lots and lots of people. And I'm not someone that wouldn't help somebody. Like, if I see somebody that needs help, I'll be like, okay, let's all rally together and help this person. But I also want to see that person help himself. That's my big. I want to see you help yourself, because motivation motivates me to help you more. But I'm not seeing any motivation, so. It's just, hey, Afghanistan, you're actually safer than the U.S. right now. Sad to say out loud, isn't it? So, It's only funny because my dog's name is Oscar. That's the only reason it's funny. So I know this is like, a lot of things that people get super emotional to talk about, but take the emotion out of it and just go look at the stats. Go look at the domestic violence and assault stats. Go look at the homicide stats. Go look at the drug funneling stats, and look where America started. Look at everybody that was always on top. Okay, so because like the top 20 never changed for like 20 years. And in the last couple years, America has went whoop right to the top, but everybody else has pretty much stayed. America's just slid right up there and snuck right in, number 2 to 4. So that proves we're the only ones seeing a large, substantial change in the demographic, of our nation. And even some of the more dangerous places that were on top have dropped a few places because we probably now have most of their people that cause problems. So you just have to go and look at facts. I know it's an emotional topic because we look at, they want to point out individuals and show you things that pull on your heartstrings. And it is sad to see people struggle. But we're all going to be struggling here in about 2 years. Because we have literally, I would say probably around 9 to 10 million actually new people that we can't identify in our country. Plus 200,000 kids missing. That bothers the crap out of me. Because if you're an adult, you do you, boo. If you want to come across here illegally and be a piece of shit, that's on you. When you get caught, you can handle it. But those children are children. And I don't care whether they're here illegally or not. We should be looking for them. We should be trying to find them. Why is our government not going to these sponsors and going, where in the heck are you? I watched a documentary the other day. One of the sponsors that had like 6 kids in his home, was in a federal pen for SA issues on a minor, but his TO was taking care of the home, still cashing his federal sponsor checks, illegally I might add. And all the kids in the home they interviewed had jobs. If they went to school, it was only online. It was only to get English speaking skills. And all their checks went to the TO who was there for the sponsor, who was also getting federal money. And I'm like, no one's watching these children. No, that we don't have a case manager monitoring these kids that are in sponsored homes. Really? I worked with DHS. I worked with, I think maybe DCS and a lot of other states, but they would come in and like rip a family apart because a kid had a hangnail. But now we just lost 200,000 kids. That really? We don't have workers to really? Where are these children at? I got questions. It was my money that was paying for these sponsors. I want to know. So I don't know. It's one of those things that people like to come in and they like to blow smoke and say, "Oh, you're lying." But no, go read the criminal statistics and the worldwide rankings for the last 20 years and compare them, graph them, and look at the utter decline of America. Everyone else pretty much stays consistent. There's some places in Central and South America that go down the chart because their violent people came to America. So they corrected a little bit. But America went from 76th on like the most dangerous places to live. America was down there on 76, so we were pretty doggone safe. And now we're at number 4. We went 72 places upward in just a matter of a few years. There's only one reason for that. Because overall in most of the states, crime had stayed pretty consistent. And now if you look where the crime is occurring, it is in places where people are being held, bused, or choosing to live because there are a lot of sanctuary cities or there are a lot of hostels or hotels that the government's paying for. Those towns have absolutely spiked. Go, and all you have to do is go study New York. Go watch Cash Jordan's YouTube channel because he lives in New York and he's monitoring all of this. Go watch Cash Jordan's YouTube channel. He's really good at looking at all the aspects. And he's telling the story of New York just completely honestly. Go watch Nick. I think it's Nick Shipley. Nick Shipley, he and his mother, he's a young man. He's lived in Central America for a number of years before, loves the area, but understands the issues they have. But he is actually following the migrants and interviewing the migrants to get the migrant stories and the things that the migrants tell. It's amazing. It's amazing. And if more Americans heard it, we would not be so happy, because I'm not. So go watch Nick Shipley's channel. And I mean, this young man and his mother, who is a sociologist, they're doing such a great job. Now, why do I watch criminal stats? Because I'm a retired parole officer. I supervise murderers. I supervised murderers, sex offenders, violent male offenders, and did the Interstate Compact. So I watched the movement of criminals because it was what I did for a career. And so I have been watching this for a while now. And I'm going, yep, here we go. Down the toilet bowl. How do we correct this? We can't without our government's help, without laws that are already on the books in place being actually held in standing in a court of law. We can't correct this. We can't correct this. So I'm from Tennessee. Thank you for your service. Well, I don't know if it was service. It sure was an education, I'll tell you that. She's so old. I'm actually not old. I've been cleaning today and I look like trash, but I'm only 45. But I have a neuromuscular disorder that's spreading to my organs, so I have a terminal disorder and I have on no makeup, so I probably do look a little atrocious today. Thank you for using the kindness of your soul to point out not one kind thing. That was, gee, you might have some things to talk to Jesus about. Annette, I hear you, and I agree. So, and you see all these held messages. These are people that just want to yell, but they don't want to go and research. They don't want to go and do the work. They want to feel an emotion and scream an emotion and sit in a corner and suck their thumb and go, it's good. It's great here. It's all good here. It's great. Really? What have you been doing for 3 years? I have held a sign and fight for women's equality. Women's equality. Women's equality? Yes, and women's equality. Okay, and introduce me to your women friend. Hi, my name's Mary. Oh, that's women's equality? What? It's not women's equality. We've changed words. We've changed the meaning of words. We've changed the social structure. Literally, we cater to 0.003% of the population. Why? I'm all about human equality, but don't tell me that someone that has like a 47% more dense bone and muscle structure can smack a woman and get charged as a female when he's still got a garden hose and is not taking estrogen because he thinks he's a woman. That is someone that should be in counseling, because I can think I'm a butterfly. No, we all know my fat ass ain't getting off the ground. I'm not a butterfly. When we get to the point where we have to put litter boxes in schools, which actually occurred, blows my mind. We need to have a talk about this. And equality is a very subjective term, because everyone's equality is a different reality, because we all live in different realities. What is the shared equality? What is the shared reality? That is where society functions. It's like a Venn diagram, and down at the bottom where we all cross over, that's the little place where we all have to share and get along and understand each other's rights. Or no one has rights. Because if you keep flexing the law to be subjective, then the law means nothing. If you keep saying, words mean different things, then words have no meaning. And you disassemble not only history, but you disassemble your nation. And we're starting out with go listen to Alexis Blake. I don't always agree with everything Alexis Blake says, and I will call her she, because she is really trying to present as a female. And then here's the thing. When I counseled, let me tell you a little secret. When I counseled, no one with gender dysphoria, which they actually took out of the DEMS. I don't know why, because they took it out because we don't want them to think they have a mental health issue, but it is a mental health issue. We don't want to stigmatize them. Okay, it's not stigma. It's a label so they can get appropriate care through medical coding. It's silly. Like, they're disassembling medical care. It's mind-boggling at what they're doing. So no one in all my training and all my counseling and all my years of dealing with all this crap, no one that ever had gender dysphoria came in and wanted to put a sign on their head that said, I have gender dysphoria. They wanted to, as politely and calmly as possible, just look the way they felt in their mind and hope that society saw them as what they saw themselves as. And they really tried. If they wanted to look like a female, they really put a lot of effort in there. If they wanted to look like a male, they put a lot of effort into that. And these were people that didn't want anyone to pick up on it, because they didn't want the attention. They wanted a normal life. That's what they craved. They felt, if I could live this way, I could have a normal life. And there is a small percentage of the population that benefit from that transition. And I'll gladly support them. They benefit from that, and they handle it the right way. But when you use it as a way to defame and attack other people, or just confuse people so that you can then try to get them into mitigation or litigation issues, then it becomes a weapon, and we've weaponized what we thought was equality. Because we're catering in this nation to a 0.03% population. Everything we see around us is rainbow or pronouns, but if you say, let's represent a regular straight nuclear family, how dare you? Well, actually, no, they're over 99% of the makeup of this community or this nation, and they need to be represented as well. But everyone sees that representation as hate. Equality is not equality. Equality is subjective. And it's kind of like the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Well, in this time, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and the squeaky politicians can get the cash in the pocket. And when I was counseling, you're not allowed to diagnose anyone under the age of 18, because chemicals and hormones change so much between 14 to 22 that you can't really diagnose anyone, because you don't know exactly what they're going through. They have to show severe levels of issues to be diagnosed with certain things before that age, And it's like, that's changed. Now you just, he's a cat. He's a cat. On his paperwork, put he's a cat. Okay. And we're having 5-year-olds say, I'm a girl. Okay, that's fine. If they feel that way, they will still feel that way when their body has matured. But my thing is, if we don't let bodies mature, and we don't let them go through puberty as nature plans, then many of them don't have the ability to have surgical intervention to change what they see as a problem with themselves, and then to have a gratifying relationship life with another. So if the younger we allow them to make these grave changes to their bodies, the less likely they are to have a fully happy, gratifying life. And then imagine if you go through life and the one thing you want is to feel like a woman or a man, but the one thing you needed to do that, you didn't let mature enough so that you would have the hormones and the skin, or, for surgical reasons, to create that, or the nerves, nerve endings and stuff. Imagine to think that that was going to fix all your problems, which is called destination addiction. Just when that gets here, I'll be better. When I get to look like that, I'll feel better. When I have this surgery, I'll be better. No, you got to make better now. You got to deal with life now and make it better now. So that's called destination addiction. And they keep thinking, oh, then I'll be better. They don't think about now. Well, right now your body's maturing. You need to allow your body to mature, because if you truly do want to make this change, you need to have enough skin, enough hormones, and enough nerve endings to make the changes so that you can still have a gratifying adult life with a partner. We've robbed so many people of that. And who are the people that commit most of the sociopathic or psychopathic crimes? People that are sexually unhappy. And I have to say it like that because of the stupid platform. And so you have to think about the ripple consequences of this. Like, I support people. Like, oh gosh, I have bonus children that are gay. I have bonus children that are trans. I support them. They came to me. We talked about options. We sent them and found counseling options. And thank God they made the decision to let their bodies mature and then make the change so that they would be able to follow through later with surgical intervention if they wanted to go the whole way. Because they wanted to be happy. You don't want to just look the part. You want to be able to function. People that can't function take their anger out in other ways. So we're, in this thing about equality, you have to also go, sometimes people don't make the best decisions for themselves, especially when their frontal lobe is not completely matured, which for women is around 22 and for men is around 25. Puberty doesn't start till like 11 to 16. It's a whole open range. Bodies are all different. And it used to be we couldn't diagnose kids with anything until they became an adult or were drastically, having horrible, manifestations of what we absolutely knew were specific issues. Now they've taken away all the protocol. They're just throwing money at it, and we are telling kids that, oh yeah, when you have this and you change this and you cut these off and you do that. But what we're not telling them is, oh, if you don't wait until your body matures, then you won't have a mature body that can function, and you will not have a life of that gratification that you're hoping you can have. It won't happen. And if you could look at every child that says, I want to be something else, and give them 7 years to mature when they're getting into puberty, and go, okay, do you want to change your body now, or would you like to wait until everything forms so that as a trans adult, you can function and have a relationship where both of you are happy with the outcome of intercourse? 98% would go, wait, that mean I'm not going to get that now. I will wait. I will wait. I mean, we've neutered 30% of our population. It just boggles my mind. It boggles my mind. Wash my hair. My hair's good. I've got a hair mask on. I've got a, what is it, Rosini or Ilho? I don't know, hair mask on, but my hair is fine. I mean, I've got my light on up here, which looks horrible, and I'm in front of a white curtain, which changes the color of everything, but I don't expect you to think about all that. All I expect you to think about is ugly remarks. Thank you. But I mean, I'm really trying to make people think, because I think the issue is that we're all just too emotional. We're all just too emotional, and we're not thinking about what we're allowing people to choose. I had a 3-year-old once that wanted to play on the back porch at Granny's, but he didn't have a rail around the swimming pool. And I said, no, honey, that's not safe. You could hurt yourself. You can't play there. You're going to have to play down here where if something happens, Mama can grab you quicker. And he got mad at me. And he wanted to kick me in my shins. And I was like, well, you can hate me, but this is the best thing for you, because I'm not going to allow you to hurt yourself. And now I look at parents and they're just like, she wants to hurt herself. He wants to hurt himself. That's yes. And he believes that. Yes, I'll sign. And it's like rarely with these younger kids that have not been through puberty, rarely do they have happy existences if they transition early. And I'm sitting here going, if you want to transition, I'll support you. Wait till your body's mature so that you can actually have a very fulfilling life. Just wait to do it till you have a fulfilling life. I'm not going to dog you, but I'm going to say, let your body mature. Because if you stop puberty, if you stop certain chemicals and hormones from producing in the body, you freeze the brain. Why do we have 35-year-olds that act like they're 15? Because when you arrest the growth and the maturity and the puberty, it stops a lot of the chemical components in the hormonal components in the brain. It freezes the brain. It stops the brain from maturing. So it takes longer for the brain to mature without the normal climb through the hormones and chemicals. That's why we have older people acting like younger people. Older people that are acting like 12-year-olds that can't blend in society. They don't have the ability because they stole the ability for their brain to mature in an appropriate time frame. And so they have a jet lag behind the rest of society. But no one wants to talk about this. And the doctors and the psychologists that do talk about this, they get railed. But it's absolutely true. You slow down the growth of your frontal lobe, your societal function, and you slow down your neurosynaptic regions when you slow down your chemical and hormonal growth. It is basically the equivalent of drug use. When people begin using drugs as 13 or 14-year-olds, it stops the brain. The brain stops producing chemicals because new chemicals are being put in it. So the brain goes, well, I don't need to make these things. They're giving them to me. So the brain freezes. And then if they use for 10 years, now they're 23, when they go to hopefully rehab and they finally get sober, they come home and they still have 13 to 14-year-old behavioral problems. And they have to catch up. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And I'm not blowing smoke. I have my master's in psychology, and I've worked in forensic psychology with the Department of Corrections. I've dealt with every kind of counseling issue. I worked with youth in state's custody that was taken away from families due to trauma and addiction past. I've dealt with all of this. So I've done a lot of research, and it's just so important to understand, yeah, it's great for people to be able to choose a path, but let's let them mature before they choose that path so that that path is fulfilling, so that they don't get to the end of the path and go, well, shit, that was not the best decision. I wish somebody told me. I'm trying to tell you. You can be whoever you want to be, and I'll support you in that. But do it when you grow and mature to where when you change your body, it's still going to function. That's my biggest thing, because I don't want to see people change themselves and they get to 24 and not have a fulfilling relationship because they transition too soon, had surgical intervention too soon, and they don't have working parts. And they harm themselves because they're not as happy as they thought they should be. Or that destination addiction, that didn't fix them. It could if you would wait and let your body mature. And then make the changes. That's the best thing. I mean, express yourself however you need to express yourself as long as you're not hurting somebody else. I don't have a problem with that. But don't hurt yourself to think that expression is the only thing you need. No, there's so much more you need in your life, especially when you mature and you're looking for relationships and the satisfaction and the release that comes from those relationships. Just grow up. Let your body be able to do those things. Okay? Give the doctors enough hormones and skin and product to create what you're going to need to be happy. You know, and so I'm just, it hurts me to see so many that are now in this bracket, this age bracket, where they're like, well, crap. Nobody told me these things. Well, some of us tried, but then everybody screamed equality and we ran away. When we were just going, but the quality of your life is more important than you feeling equal right now. Because here's the secret. Here's the secret. No one that ever grows up on this planet is ever going to feel equal. Why? Because we're individuals. And we can't have the same realities, and we can barely share the same reality to enforce laws. Nobody's ever going to feel equal. There's always going to be a subjective component to that. There's equality will never be reached. So what should we do? We should look at quality of life And if this is something that you need, let's do it in a manner that's going to give you the best quality of life. And it may mean waiting longer to make changes to your body, but it will give you more gratification if you wait longer. Because we've got a bracket of younger adults that have one of the highest suicide rates ever because of a lot of ill-advised surgical intervention. It's sad. It's sad, And I have people in offering groups, and I support them all. But I have to look at the individual and say, what's the best decision for you and your future and your quality of life, not what makes you feel good and will make you feel good today. No, today is not near as important if you're 13 as it will be when you're 23. Because at 23, your brain needs to be fully formed and your body needs to be fully formed. And you need to be able to function in society. And then if you find a relationship, you need to be able to find happiness and function in that relationship. And I'm just saying, let's talk about realistic goals. Happiness is a fart in the wind. Quality of life, you can measure that through capabilities and abilities and goals. If you want to have a happy relationship, you want to have a functioning relationship, and you want to be trans, you need to wait through puberty so that your body can be augmented with enough hormones and nerve endings and stuff that you can have that quality of life. That's all I'm saying. But it's just it's weird. It's weird. It's just a weird topic. And everybody says if you don't agree exactly with me, and then you don't believe in human rights. I have championed for so many people that had been cut down in court, had been framed, had been mistreated, had been put on mental health watch and suicide watch just to belittle them, demean them. I have had an epileptic denied their medication to where I demanded a jail transfer so the medication could be given. And I was reporting the jail that I was an institutional parole officer for. I was reporting the jail to the authorities. And I will do the right thing. I will do the right thing, even for a convicted felon. I will do the right thing so that their quality of life is maintained, so that they are treated like a human being. All I'm saying is, if you augment your body too soon, you're not going to feel like a human being, because you're never going to reach these goals that you have ascertained and romanticized in your head, and you're going to feel unhappy. And I don't want you to be unhappy and do something stupid because somebody didn't give you good advice to let your body mature. Now, I have a trans bonus child that is doing great transitioning. Waited until they knew their body had matured, and then went through 18 months of counseling before they started any kind of, before they started testosterone. And then talked to a group of therapists before they even started looking at surgical options, and really took this in a wise, slow way, because the big thing was, I want to function as a man because I feel like a man. And that's very important. Thank you. Thank you for looking at the quality of your life and the longevity of your choice. That's a great way to do that. Blossoming, doing great. Shoulders broader than mine now. I mean, and change the name, and I'm here with it. You're doing well. You look happier. You're part of that population that benefits from that, and I'm so proud of you that you did it the right way. So it's important. It's important to understand that equality now doesn't mean that they're going to have quality of life later. And sometimes equality is not what they're needing. What they're needing is honesty, biological information, counseling, and to look at the longevity of their decision and what's most important. And for most of them, it's a functional relationship in the bedroom. Let's just be honest. And for that to occur, then there needs to be more honest physicians out there telling them about the drawbacks to early transition. So, I mean, it's just one of those things you can read information about, or you can get stuck in the emotions. I try to straddle the fence on both of them, and say, I understand your emotions. Now let me go and look at the stats on this. Let me look at how this is turning out for people in your age group. Let's look at the medical issues that are, arising for people in your age group. Let's look at people that have transitioned at your age and how they're doing 7 to 10 years down the road, because we don't have a lot of feedback on this yet. This is still relatively a new thing. So for me, equality means that I care enough to tell you the truth as though I would anyone else that had any other medical condition or mental health condition. I'm going to tell you the same. And that's what equality means to me, so that you can make the most educated decision that's going to help you and benefit you the most, because your longevity, your lifetime happiness is what I'm thinking of, not your happiness today. And it's like, make today as good as you can, but understand when we start to play with our bodies, there's a waiting period so that we can mature. So, but we also don't want to arrest the brain and the brain development before it has time to mature. That's a big thing as well, that they just won't let us talk about. They shut down the conversation. So, and I mean, everybody, let me tell you something, as retired law enforcement, your ISP never changes. Even if you go to McDonald's and you go on their internet, or you go think you're going on some kind of elusive Wi-Fi, your ISP never changes. So if you say things that are sexually assaultive or sexually explicit, your ISP never changes, and you can't hide, and you can be found. So do be careful what you place in the chat, because I won't remove it. I will let stupidity shine for the world to see, because someone may see that and go, oh, that's a charge, and they need to be able to find that to track that. So place your stupidity below, please. Y'all really need to read. Y'all really need to get educated. Y'all really need to grow up in a world where there are consequences, and you have to understand the annotated code of your area. You need to go read some law books. It's whew. Maybe this is the real reason for the decline of America. Maybe they just see that we're a bunch of fleas and they just need to take over. I don't know. Either way, you should go and read Justia.com. You should go and read some of the world stats. You should go to Kiora. You should go to Nick Shipley's YouTube page and look at the work he and his sociologist mother have been doing. And you should, instead of seeing things in your eyes and your emotional aspect, you should see things from a logical, factual. You should be balanced. Because I can love and support people, but still tell them, I think you're making a mistake if you do this now. Let's talk about other aspects. And if you love somebody so much that you're not going to tell them about the bad things that could occur, do you really love them? Or do you just want to support them to their own demise? I think we should really love them, and we should say, something? Medically, people that wait longer to transition have more fulfilling lives. That should be the key, because if you're transitioning to have a more fulfilling life, you want to have the most fulfilling life. Therefore, your body needs to mature so that you can have that longest run possible of happiness. It makes sense to me. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't make sense to everybody else. But then again, maybe you've not gone through 6 years of college. But the brain is a very delicate thing. The body's very shortly right behind it. And hormone and chemical panels within the body can augment the result of anything. And the fewer hormones you go into transition with, even though they're giving you hormones, they're not your hormones. They're not your body's not going to continue to grow as it would. And so you're still not going to mature as necessary for a lot of the surgical procedures. And this has been documented on shows just like Jazz and all that other stuff, that people get caught up in the emotions. So I think that's what's wrong with our world right now. Everybody's caught up in the emotions. Everybody except the people that are taking advantage of the people caught up in the emotions. Which side are you on? Think about it. Pay attention. And do you love somebody enough to tell them the truth? Or do you just love them enough to make them feel good? I'm just going to fluff you and make you feel good because I want you to feel good around me, because I want you to spend time with me. So I'm just going to say anything to make you feel good. Okay. And then when you show up 5 years later and you're absolutely unhappy, and I'm going to go, Yeah, I thought you might have been making a mistake. They're going to say, why didn't you tell me? I wanted you to be happy. Well, did you not think about my happiness in 5 to 10 to 15 years? I was afraid to say anything because we were all stuck on equality and supporting everybody in their decisions. Well, some decisions shouldn't be made at 12, 13, 14, and 15. You just really don't have the brain capacity. You just don't. You don't understand your body, the functions of the body. You don't understand your place in society. You don't understand the world. There's just so much that just a few years of maturity can benefit you. It's so important. Um, my bonus child at transition is like, I'm so glad I waited till later because I had the ability to have the surgeries. The surgeries were more easily done. Everything went more smoothly. And I know now more of who I am because I went through this chemical hormonal change and still knew I was not happy with myself. And it made me know that I had made the right decision and I was going to follow through. I was very proud of them. Very proud of them. Blake, I'm very proud of you. But everybody else just sees, the emotions. I see a long life. What are your goals? Are you going to be able to meet them? Because life is not just about superficial looks and how people see you. It's how you live with yourself. Make the changes that you can live with long term and make them at the appropriate times and carefully. And I wish everybody the best. I'm not telling anybody to not do anything. I'm just saying think about it, do it appropriately. Read the science. Talk to multiple doctors. Somebody that sees you and 2 weeks later puts you on hormones is probably not a doctor you want to be seeing. There should be a lot of therapy that goes before anything like that. And sadly, it's turned into a financial meat market instead of a true compassionate care plan for people that do have gender dysphoria and the rightful medical and mental needs to transition. So I don't know. People just think I don't know. People just think what makes me happy now. Now is a fleeting moment. Think about yourself in 10, 15, 20 years. Because we all want to get there, right? Mm-hmm. Make those plans that are going to get you there and get you there in the best shape possible, in the best mental and emotional and physical shape possible. Care for yourself. Enough to sometimes tell yourself the hard truth. That was one of the hardest things with counseling was when they had a revelation and they had to understand that they had been lying to themselves for years and years and years, and they had this revelation. That was hard to watch people because then they didn't trust themselves for a few months, and then though you saw them have this newfound confidence and courage, and then we saw success. Great things happen when we stop lying to ourselves. So, but anyway, that's just some stuff I was thinking on today. You know, I had a conversation with my trans bonus child and seeing a lot of positive things occur from the extra time that they gave themselves. And I'm like, yes, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that now you're going to have a long life. Adopted children. Then they went and did, they chose donor. And so now they have 3 children. They're a family unit. They're doing great. And I mean, it's remarkable just what giving yourself a couple of years can do for maturity. It's just remarkable. So I'm very proud of Blake. Blake, I'm very proud of you. If you see this, I'm very proud of you. Of course, I tell them that every time I see them. So, but yeah, equality and quality. If you take the E off, it should be about quality of life. Because equality is it's a pipe dream because you're never going to feel equal to anyone else in this world. There's always going to be something that you're going to be downcast and downtrodden upon yourself and raising up and turning into like a almost spiritual component of someone else, you're never going to have equality. Equality is a pipe dream. They set you up for a pipe dream to make you emotional, to make you weak. Quality. Quality is what keeps us sane, consistent, functioning, and able to handle the ups and downs of life without feeling that we've been gypped or victimized. We just go, we've got to make the correct decisions to set ourselves up for a long-term happy life. Takes a lot of thought, a lot of studious thought and attention to detail, and it's very much something you must do. And so I would just say, if you're one of those people that are wanting to transition, give yourself and your body time to grow so that you can have a successful long-term life. Because equality might sound good, but quality of life is so much better. And you're not going to have quality of life if you do not have a fulfilling relationship, which is what most people are striving for when they change, because that's how they feel in that gamut of life. Give yourself time. Give yourself and your body time. So I don't know. This was really kind of like weird conversations, but it's kind of been the last couple of days that I've had, with I've been sick, and so I've had a lot of my bonus kids and stuff call and check on me and talk to me, and I've been like, well, I have a really eclectic group of bonus children and friends. This is great. Why do I have such an eclectic group? Because I'm very honest, and they know when they come to me, I'm going to be very honest with them. And I'm going to care about them in 10 years, not about in 10 seconds. And I'm going to say, I understand you're feeling this now, but where do you think you're going to be in 5 or 10 years? Where do you see yourself? How do we make that manifest? What do we need to do today to make sure that 10 years from now is going to occur? What are the steps we need to put in place? And, just those small pauses and thoughts benefit people so much. So if you're someone in that aspect and you need somebody to talk to, pop into a live, and if we don't have the troll traffic that we normally have, I'll share my email, and you can talk to me. I give great friendly advice. I'm at home now, sick, dying from a neuromuscular disorder, but I still like to give friendly advice. I'm wealth of knowledge to be used and help should help somebody. But I understand the society we live in right now is not a good one, because so many people have thought they're happy with themselves, but their happiness is normally derived from harming others. You see it every day on social media. You see it here in the chat. It's stupid. I supervise murder, so there's very little you're going to say that's going to irritate me. Oh, Gypsy, you help me out every day too, honey. God just put us together for a reason. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Not a lot of people think I have positive vibes, but I just try to have compassionate but clear thought and cognitively balanced perspectives that make people think. I'm not here to dictate your life. That's your job. But I certainly do hope that you have someone that is helping you make better choices for yourself, or the best choice possible for yourself, so that you can have the longest and happiest life possible. Because sometimes I have to look at people and go, I can't make you feel good right now. Because anything I'm going to say, any stat that I'm going to throw out, any medical information, any mental health information, is going to make you think, and you're not going to be happy with what I say. But I'll tell you, and you can take it home and mill through it. And then tomorrow, if we need to talk again, we'll talk again. That's equality. Loving somebody enough to tell them the truth. That's what I would want. If I were to be treated equal, love me enough to tell me the truth, and I'll love you enough to tell you the truth. If I could pick a meaning for equality, that would be my meaning. Because right now, equality just means subjectively, I can behave in any manner I want, and you have to accept it and support it. That's not equality. No, that's called taking captives. Think about yourself in 10, 15 years. Think if you want that relationship, if you want what kind of relationship you need, if you're going to need that physical gratification, if you're going to have the components of your body that are going to create that. Think about that, and just give yourself time to mature. Yeah, that's all I ask. Give your brain and your body time to mature, so that you're making the right decision, and that you have enough hormones, chemicals, and skin to allow a doctor to be successful, to give you the best life possible. And and for the 0.03% of the population that is trans, I think the majority of them do wait till later. The ones that are successful, they do wait for later. And some of them even wait beyond, like they live in, they get the facial reconstruction and stuff, and they get the aesthetic stuff, but they wait for the full-blown everything else because they want to test that to make sure that's where they want it to be. Because this stuff can be reversed, but the other stuff can't. We can't do that. We can't reverse a lot of that. And I have a lot of respect for people like Alexis Blake, who is sitting there and open, just vulnerably and volunteering their information and their story and their life, and saying, these are the problems I'm having, and these are the things I'm seeing, and these are the things I'm witnessing, and this is the atrocities that I think are occurring, and this is the temperament of my community that I'm concerned about. And I'm like, hallelujah, thank you. And it goes back to what I said at the beginning. It only takes 5% of the population to sway the behavior. And we've been on this kick of, you better respect me, and it's ma'am, sir. We've been on that for so long to where we just have to go, what do I call you? Who are you? I'm sorry, I'm just belittle me now. I don't know how to, and people just rack their brain because they run into people that literally just try to push the limit to cause trouble. And I'm like, no one that I ever counseled with gender dysphoria ever wanted to put a sign on their forehead that said, I have gender dysphoria, and I want to make you uncomfortable. That was not in their realm of thought. They were like, I want to blend in this world and be seen as how I feel, but I want to really work at it and have people not know. I want to just be. And I was like, okay. I never had any ever want to hold up a sign talking about body parts. And it's just like, people that are truly suffering with this, they're being quiet because they're like, that's not the point of this. The point is to tell a society that we do care enough that we make these changes, and we're trying to live happy, appropriate lives, and we're not trying to ruin their life and make them have 5,000 questions and how do I talk to this person until I meet, and oh my God, they're wearing pink and blue and a ponytail and motorcycle boots. What am I supposed to call this person? And then if you avoid eye contact, they're like, why are you avoiding me? And you're like, it's just like the hostility level is so just horrible because we have just kowtowed to the 0.03% of the population, and it's I think a lot of it's become a trend, and I don't want children to get caught up in trends. I want you to reflect internally, talk to yourself, think about yourself in 10 to 15 years. Where do you want to be? What do you see yourself doing? Give your brain and body time to mature. Let your chemicals and hormones come to fruition. Let your frontal lobe form, because that's society. We need that, people. That's why society is having issues. And then make those changes and do it in the best way possible for you to have the best life possible for the longest time possible. And that's what I would tell anybody. But I'm not going to blow smoke and tell my 6'4" male friend that just because he wore a pink top, he looks like a woman. No, Bubba. I'll help you. It takes a little bit more work. Let's work on it. Because that is, number one, asking for trouble going out into society. Number two, confusing like the whole social stigma of pronouns and identification, and people can't guess what's in your brain. People can't, and when there used to be this thing called androgyny, and we were okay with people that were androgynous. David Bowie, he is one of the most famous androgynous. What is it? There was another singer that I used to like that was really androgynous. I like Laura Pergolesi, and she's pretty daggum androgynous. I've seen her 3 times in concert. She's about that big. About that big. First time I watched the video, I thought it was an Italian man. And I said, well, look at that little cute Italian man. And then my friend said, that's a woman. I said, well, look at that little cute Italian woman. Cute as a little. I'm just cute.
Just cute. I don't have a problem saying that. It's just adorable. I want her hair. I want her hair. She's got beautiful hair. But I was okay with either way. It didn't bother me. I just thought that was a beautiful person. She has a gorgeous voice. She's amazing in concert. You should go really see her concert. One of her favorite songs that she sings that I like the most is called Strange. And it's like, we're all strange. And that's never going to change. Well, hallelujah, amen. We're all strange. It's not a race to see who can be the strangest. It's a race to see, can you live a life that you're going to be happy with, content with, and in longevity, it's going to meet all your needs as a human being. That's what I really ask people a lot. So think about those things. So, hi Denise. I don't know. I'm having a lot of I'm having, I've had a lot of stress this week with my health and some family issues and stuff, but I've also had a lot of wonderful people check on me. And I realized last night, I have a really eclectic friend group. And I thought, why do I have a really eclectic friend? Because I started talking to them. Why do I have such a wide ranging friend group? I'm a fat girl in Appalachia's got Freddie Mercury tattooed all over her body, I don't fit. Like Appalachia's like, you don't fit here. And I go to the city and they're like, you don't fit here. And I'm like, well, I fit wherever I want to fit. So that's just how I kind of lead my life. I fit wherever I want to fit. I don't have to make anyone else feel uncomfortable. I just am me and I go wherever I want to go. And I don't expect anybody to react to me a certain way. I just go. And if how they react, that's their problem. How I react, that's my problem. So I just kind of go and be appropriate and do me, And so that's kind of, I let other people do that too. And I take them for face value as an individual. And I've got the most eclectic friend group. And I started talking to them all last night. And I'm like, why are we so close? Why do we get along when we're actually really so different? What has made this work? And they're like, well, you're just really honest. Oh, thank you. You are too. Honesty. Honesty is what has built some of my best friendships that has survived some of the most toxic social, issues that have plagued the last 2 generations. Honesty. Not equality. Honesty. And so I'm sitting here and I'm going, I'm very proud that I have so many different friends and that I have friends all over the world and that I can see beautiful things in all of them. I used to work with murderers. I had to find something about that murderer I liked so that I could try to make that person a productive member of society again. So I couldn't have a bias against this person. I had to say, okay, let's dig out something we can like. And that some shining something internal that's good in you, we'll find it. And we're going to work from there because I've got to like you to want to help you. So help me help you by helping me find a way to like you. And we would find something that we would have in common, or we would find something they were struggling with that I could really help them with. And we would build a rapport. And then I saw that person as a human being and I wanted them to be successful. And that's why I had an 84% success rate. But so many people look at other people and they find things to hate just purely because they don't think they have anything in common. You got more in common than you think. You can't hate somebody because they don't think like you, because everybody's brain's different. We all think differently. You can't hate somebody because they're shaped different than you. We all have different shapes. You would hate everybody because everybody's shaped differently than you. You can't hate everybody who doesn't have the same color of your eyes, because then you would literally hate at least 70% of the population. We pick such superficial things to put such harsh emotions behind. And we don't ever think about how it hurts someone else. We only think about how it helps us. Something to think about. I would rather hurt myself to help someone. I would rather damage a friendship to tell the truth, because I know when they realize this truth, they'll come back and say, you didn't lie to me. I didn't lie to you. I've had that happen. And they're like, oh crap, I'm so sorry. I didn't lie to you. My best friend of 36 years before he passed away 2 years ago. Oh my gosh. I went on Facebook and watched all his videos last night. I missed him so much. So much. He was gay. It didn't matter to me because he was beautiful. He was beautiful because he had a beautiful heart and a beautiful soul. I miss him so much. But we go out into the world to scream equality, but normally what we start is a fight. If we go out in the world and we said, hey, let's talk about honesty, let's talk about trust, let's talk about where we all want to be in 10 years. Let's find things that we have in common. The world will be such a better place. Such a better place. Be good to people. And for people that are good to you, no matter what category they fall into, be good to them. We have enough people that bring us crap. Be good to people. Do you hear my dog snoring? My dog's snoring. Extreme Oscar close up. He's just snoring away, jerking and snoring away. He was chasing something last night. I fell out of his hammock bed. And I was like, listen, you're getting too old to do that. Well, my daddy drilled oil in Saudi Arabia for a long time. I mean, do you think I'm ignorant about the world around me when I talk about it and I research statistics all the time? I mean, really? Perceptions are a really horrible thing because it's almost like equality. It's just as dangerous. Perceptions, equality, and assumptions. Well, they all need to be put in a toilet and flushed. Because everybody sees through those filters and they see nothing else. You know, and I just try to look at behavior, motive, and actions. That will tell me if you're a decent person or not. I don't try to, smear anything else on you topically. I want to see behavior, motive, and actions. Those are three things that always show where your heart lies. So I'll leave y'all with that. I'm going to shut up now. I think my dog has talked me into a nap. That snoring makes me think I need to take a nap too. So, hey, listen, if you bark for a donation, go right ahead. It's going to be you that benefits from it, not me, or suffers, depending on what you just ate. So go for it. But I'm not a monetized channel. I will never monetize and speak about things that I don't think money needs to be in the middle of. And I like to have honest conversations and just kind of make ends think a little bit, think a little bit. I think one of the biggest issues with the United States is that we've turned into a little zombie apocalypse and we don't think. Or if we do think, we think about such a minuscule, small little space around us, or just a small, thought pattern of other people, and we don't think about ripple effects or where society is going to be in 10 or 20 years or what world our kids or grandkids are going to inherit. We think about, well, I should be happy right now. And yeah, I want people to have happy lives, and I want you to make today a good day. But I also want you to remember that your kids and grandkids and great grandkids, they also have to have happy lives in a good, decent society so they can have good days and good jobs and good lives. And we need to be careful what we're creating these days, people. Very much so. I didn't want to get up this morning either. I had to, though, but I didn't want to. I did not sleep well last night. My neuromuscular disorder was really not happy last night, so I had a really rough night last night. But I'm kicking today. I'm fixing to take a nap, though, but I've got a friend coming tomorrow, and I'm going to have a visitor for about a week, and I'm going to enjoy the crap out of it because, I'm disabled. I'm normally at home. I'm used to working 80 hours a week, and now I'm at home. It drives me nuts. And my husband works all the time, so bless his heart, he's not able to really keep me company. And he tries, but he's just so busy. Bless his heart, he's just so busy. And so I'm going to enjoy having a friend that's, lives out of state come and stay with me for a few days and just have her close. It's always healing to have a really good friend close. And that will be, like, in the last 2 months, I will have seen all three of my super closest friends. They've been to my house, visited. And that is, for me, that's like a super energetic boom that recharges my battery and makes me feel good, to be around good people. So I got to go too, Gypsy. So y'all have a good day. Think about these things. Love each other enough to sometimes tell the truth, sneak it in there if you can, but always do it out of love, never out of spite or hate, which is sometimes what other people use to scream equality about. So, quality of life, love, and longevity. Those are things you should worry about for you and the generations after. I love you guys. Thanks for spending time with me. You may not like my content, and that's okay. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but if you do like my content, come back. We're going to do a great interview this weekend with one of the smartest people I know. It's going to be really eye opening. So come back and join us, and I'll see you tomorrow if I'm not too busy with my friends. So bye, guys. I think I'm going to join Oscar and snore for a while. If you need a nap, go take you a nap. Bye, guys.